anyway. So with this out of the way, we're going to be jumping into just releases. It's going to be a lot of releases coming up for this year. So if you haven't seen some of the release charts, like people have made infographics, and there's quite a lot of things coming up in the first half of the year. Almost caught it live, but it was right when I was studying. Oh no, Alex. Yeah, I could have done it, but something came up, and then yeah, I was really wanting to stream it too, because it was at a perfect time for me to stream too. But yeah, just wasn't able to do. But let's do it. Let's cover it anyway. Delayed coverage. It's news time. OBS has moved my buttons again, and I accidentally managed to clip the intro to the news. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Mousling, hey Mousling. You missed the start, so it's perfect. Excellent. Yeah, well, I've only just jumped in because I'm running a little late, but let's do it. Let's jump into the news. So, as I mentioned, there was a Nintendo Direct, so that's probably what most of today is going to be. However, there were some good announcements and some interesting announcements that happened during the week that I'll cover. It was very funny. If you look at the news, I was looking at the trend of it, because we're off the sort of hump of last week, and essentially when there's a lull in news, you notice kind of fluff pieces appearing, and a lot of just coverage of minor news pieces and opinion pieces. So it was just funny to see that like little time period before the Nintendo Direct announcement, and then it was just go. I was studying all day, and when I had time, I saw the whole thing. Oh, nice. Yeah, I think a lot of you probably have seen a lot of this, but at least it gives my input on it to what I think some of the announcements were, and I do think that was a good Direct. I enjoyed it. Was surprised one or two things weren't there, but it was replaced with other surprises, so works out. All right, let's go for it. First up, oh, actually, this again will be the news for February the 11th, 2022. Let's jump in. Granblue Fantasy exceeds 31 million registered users. I'm a big fan of Granblue. I haven't played it in a long time though, and yeah, it's interesting because it's kind of slowed down in terms of like content releases and the amount of players coming into it. But 30 million is still a shit ton of people, and it will make sense that when the action game comes out eventually, that will sell very, very well. Granblue just is something that has made Cygames a shit ton of money. Between Itch and Shadowverse, like, they've just made a lot of money. So once they've sort of moved off Granblue, or they've moved into whatever else they want to do, Cygames will be able to do whatever they want, and I'm very excited because they've got a good team. If you guys don't know, they are a lot of X-Square individuals. That's why the art looks so familiar and sort of ideals around it. High fantasy, they do it well. I've already seen it, yes. So I actually watched the Direct later yesterday, but so we won't be doing a Let's Watch, just because I feel like a lot of people would have seen it by this point. I think it might be just easier to cover it as nudes. Cover it as nudes. But okay, chat. The one main reason I brought this article up is to put in comparison to something here. Granblue Fantasy exceeds 31 million. It's a very Japanese game. Mostly, it's pretty hard. A lot of people who don't know it really outside of Japan as much as the next topic. But to put in contrast, 30 million registered users versus Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel reaches 10 million downloads worldwide. This has only been out for like about a month now, chat. Probably not even that. I think maybe like 3 weeks. Holy shit. This is a very well downloaded and liked card game. I literally talked about Shadowverse a second ago. Cygames kind of knows these numbers. And what's kind of crazy about this though is I will say there is a lot of people making alt accounts, like lots of alt accounts. I'm not sure I'm really into the fact that people are needing to do that. but it shows that this game is popular. People are wanting to play this game, and this really, really is one of those things where I'm going to say it. I want Konami to please recognize this situation and please put some support behind this game for more longevity, and they really need some stuff. Quite right now, there's a lot of like just card stuff, and they put a lot of effort. It's a good game. It's not a great game. I think that it's missing a lot right now by not having a lot of events. They've got their first announced events, but they don't even really have announced it very well, and they haven't really rewarded people for being so into playing this game. They haven't given people like that much free currency to celebrate something like this. It's very strange, but exciting though. I think that this might be, we might have just a staple Japanese card game finally, like a digital form, and that I'm into that. I don't buy physical cards, so this might be where I spend a little bit of money on going. All right. More sales news. This is probably a little bit of a less fluff one than the others. There is probably bigger ones to talk about this with this. Neo 2 surpasses 2.5 million units sold. This is this is Neo 2, not Neo 1. This is on the back of their 5th anniversary for Neo 1. And holy shit, I love Neo 1. I love Neo 2. I really suggest people who like Diablo / Dark Souls to play the game. And if you like this game and you were a part of the people that sold it, bought it rather, then I would suggest picking up Stranger in Paradise when that drops, because it is the same team. Final Fantasy Stranger in Paradise it's pretty much Neo. If you played the demos, you already know this, but I'm very, very much looking for that, and I probably will be doing a full playthrough of that game. You need a coffee mug on your desk, Taco? I did have a coffee mug somewhere. Hang on. I actually don't know where my mug's gone. It used to be on my desk. Did I get rid of it at some point? Let's have a look. How do I not have a coffee mug? Did I yeet it? I mean, that's what cats do, don't they? Left it in the kitchen. I need more coffee. Interesting. Chat, I do not have a coffee mug. I thought I did. I am shocked by this. Chat, if someone can find me a good coffee mug. Well, while we wait, if anyone does find me a coffee mug, I'm gonna put a good boy apple. Oh, that's the big apple. Put a good boy apple on the table. Did I just become an apple, chat? Yeah, the good boy apple. That's the best I could do right now, Taco. I'm chowing down some hot Cheetos. Ugh. Spicy Cheeto, too hot for me. Alright, let's keep moving. Massive apple. Hey Red Rover, welcome on in. PS5 and PS4 system software betas roll out February 9th. So this is just something to keep an eye out for. There will be some changes in the UI and hopefully some good stuff. Generally, it's not too crazy. It's just be aware that your PlayStation devices will probably be updated. There will be starting to add some of the systems that were on the PS4 that were sort of missing on the PS5. So hoping that it doesn't cause any problems, because sometimes when this new software comes out, it does cause some like issues. But I haven't played my PS5 honestly in a while. If this comes out at the same time as essentially Elden Ring does, hopefully it doesn't cause any problems with Elden Ring. That's all I really hope for. But there's some cool stuff in here. If you want to look at this, you can go have a look. There's quite a lot of little things in here that are just very helpful. So yeah, check it out. The apple looks very cute. Thank you. I'm like a teacher now. Chat, you guys gave me my apple, and you've been a good student. Yeah. I'm gonna shift myself a little bit. You haven't played your PS5 yet because you don't have what yet. Well, it's also for PS4 as well, Targo. So that, yeah, February 9th. So that should be, that's actually out now, isn't it? Yeah, that's coming out now. I haven't actually looked myself, actually. Also, hang on. Has the news gone in a weird, oh my gosh. Okay, chat. Just FYI, the news suddenly went in a weird order. I don't know what happened there. Dark Souls online servers won't return until after an Elden Ring launch. So, this one is related to the issues we've talked about the past 2 weeks about the exploit that is known with previous versions of the Souls series. Unfortunately, if you are on PC and you have a Souls game, can't do online right now because of the fact that, as I mentioned, FromSoft and Bandai will have to be really on top of this because otherwise they could have a class action lawsuit on their hands. Smart thing to do. They've taken down the servers. They need to fix this, but they don't have the manpower right now to do that, I would imagine, because they're in the process of prepping for Elden Ring. So it sounds like that exploit shouldn't be in the Elden Ring one. I don't know how they're going to prevent that if it's built directly into the code, if it's using the same systems, but perhaps they've been able to identify it and fix it, or there is some sort of stopgap in it. Really hard to say. Again, please be careful if you are playing Elden Ring on PC, like, just at all. But we'll see. It's going to be a while before the servers come up, I would imagine, probably a few months. So people are not going to be too happy about this, but trust me, it's a lot better than having random people's PCs being fried. So yeah, my PS4 won't turn on again, so I need to get it serviced. Oh no, both of you. Yeah, it can be expensive. I unfortunately haven't had a console that's ever like died. It's like I've been able to fix whatever I needed to, but God. In Australia, I don't even know what I would do half the time. I don't know where I would send it to, honestly. Final Fantasy XIV Steam account linking will start in March. So this is kind of minor news in a sense. Might be good for me because I don't play it through the Steam client and I would actually prefer to actually put it into Steam. I don't know if that's going to have the capacity to do that. Currently, they're 2 separate entities, Steam and the Final Fantasy launcher. But it looks like they're now making it so that you need to at least link your Steam account to your Final Fantasy account, your MOG Station account. But unsure how much this will really change. It's just be aware if you are playing 14, you will probably need to do this. I will probably need to do this. Hopefully it means I can install directly through Steam. Just keeps it a little bit easier on being updated. It's the Monster Hunter version 2. Oh no, Mouseling. Well, that's one of those ones as well that if they go, oh, you need to replace it, it's like, well, you better replace like all the internals then, please, because I'll keep it the case. But yeah. Chocobo GP pre-orders now available, first season introduced. So this was kind of news that got swept under the radar just because of everything. Probably for good reason. I'm not sure I'm really into this game. I still am not wowed by it. I know a lot of people are talking about it in a sense. They just announced Cloud and Squall to be playable drivers, and they get bike and car. Sure. I think it's just the fact that they're introducing a season pass. I don't know if I'm really into the idea of this, considering what we will talk about during the Nintendo Direct. But Square gonna square, I think. And I don't quite know who this game's for. But I'll just say races are in again for some reason. But yeah. Upcoming events. There's really only one event to talk about right now, which is Nier Automata 5th anniversary, as stream has been announced. And not only that, they've kind of teased there might be some biggish news there. It's hard to tell. Yoko Taro and his team are kind of a bit of a shits sometimes about talking about this stuff where they might tease that something might be coming in, but it might be something silly, it might be merch, it might be whatever. But we are at a point that we could see a proper announcement for something. I imagine they'll probably announce the catch-up content for Reincarnation for the new story beats. I can't think of what else it could be, because surely they're not going to announce a new Nier thing. I really don't know. It's hard to tell. I'm very excited the fact that people can talk about Nier and they know what the series is now, but like, it's really hard to say where all of this goes. Where does Yoko Taro go? Voice of Cards is getting its second game very soon, or second, I guess, content set, and I don't know how much of his team is split on that or what's really going on. So it's hard to say with from the inside out, but hopefully it's something big. I'd be very excited if it was. Very excited. So that's February 23rd. So it's not too far away. It's only a week or two away. But I will definitely be talking about whatever content comes out of it. Any announcements? Hell yeah, there was. Hell yeah, there was announcements. So if you didn't catch, there was the Nintendo Direct, but we will cover some of that news a little bit in, because there was a lot of other things that kind of got announced during the week. Things such as RPG Time, Legend of Right, a very cute looking game. It's got its announced date finally for March 10th. If you haven't seen this game, hopefully they've got footage here. This does look very, very cute, and I'm kind of excited for this.
This is a tale where you, Kenta, and a young hero must save a princess. All before it's time for you to go home.
How is this not in the Nintendo Direct, by the way? This is not coming out on Switch, isn't it?
Light, where humans and animals live in
Actually, I didn't look if there was anything
Among
different in the Japanese
is a
Direct.
knight in training named Right. One day, quite unexpectedly, a girl falls from the sky. Right catches this young lady who turns
Sorry,
out
hang
to
on.
be
Hang on.
Princess Leia,
Hang on. Okay. Okay. I thought for a second there she was falling out of the skies. I thought that was her panties. I thought for a second there he fell out of the sky and for some reason her pants fell off. I was like, this is a very different tone of a game, but it's no, it's just little letters.
Each other regularly, even after he left to begin his training. But one day, the princess's letters stopped coming. Right knew that she and her kingdom were in trouble. And indeed they were. Chaos reigned as demons invaded the kingdom.
Look how
Right
good
rushed
this
into
is
the fight, but was
drawn.
swiftly defeated by the Demon King.
Oh, it's so
Right,
pretty.
ever determined hero vows never to give up, and so begins his quest to save the princess. Collect intel and meet new friends who will accompany the hero on his travels in Forge Town.
Cheer rate 100 bits now.
Hey Summers, thank you for the bits. Mostly because there was a bit of spam going in where people would enter in into the conversation just with a TTS. So just to reduce the amount of that we were getting, Selmas. But thank you. Welcome on in.
The powerful plant demon Evilwood awaits within the depths of Skull Forest. The shinobi village will teach the hero the techniques they call jutsu. A terrifying witch awaits inside the witch's manor. Your journey will even take you high into the very clouds.
I wonder how long this game is. I really can't tell. Because it looks like it's got a decent amount going on. With so much hand drawn, it looks like it's just got so much unique content in terms of art. Wait, is it not on Switch? Hang on. Oh, it's not on Switch. That's why. It looks like a game that should be on Switch, and I wonder whether or not Microsoft actually have some sort of exclusivity rights on this then, because that's a weird selection. But I guess I'm getting this on Windows then.
Now it's time
Does this
for
also count for my demand for toe beans? I guess it does. I guess it does, Selmas. I guess it does. Hang on. It's hard for me to do little toe beans like this because I'm in my shirt. Hang on. I can't really see what I'm doing. The problem is I can't see what I'm doing. I have to put myself back. Hopefully I'm right in the right place. Perhaps toe beans might not be something we allow during news, but we'll see. All right, let's keep moving. Scarlet Nexus DLC 3 includes Episode Karen. So I don't know if there's actually a trailer for this. I think there might be. I still have not done the DLC content, the other ones that have dropped for Scarlet Nexus. Ironically, same thing happened with oh, I forgot the other game they made. Code Vein. Code Vein, I didn't actually do the DLC for that game either, but that might be for a good reason for that one. I liked Code Vein, but I don't know. I think that game may have overstayed its welcome a little bit. But Scarlet Nexus on the other side, I don't think it did. And I would be interested in doing more story.
It all must have started then. Just how much time have I wasted? This time I'll finish it.
The Brain Eater pack.
You have that look in your eyes again, Corin.
I don't want you two to have to kill
I just
each other.
realized I haven't heard these characters in English before, so it's a little weird. Oh, dude, what the hell?
Target is...
Is this Karin?
Wait, why is Karen like...
What was that attack? I've never seen that.
Wait, why has he got... Like, he's got like a different Oni form. What the hell is this? Wait, is there more story? Hang on, wait, hang on, what's happening?
It's all of our powers, working as a team, as one.
We know that there's alternate timeline stuff, but... Oh, dude, I'm now interested. Why is the Karen back? Is this like an ultimate story ending?
Become even stronger.
This outfit's a bit silly. Very modern Japan.
I don't know if it's because I'm with
Oh,
Naruto, but
photo
they posted my
mode.
picture too. I should put on cuter clothes.
Sorry, everyone.
Photo modes are a funny thing because I do feel like they're niche. I know I never use them, but it's one of those things where
Yuito, you can do this.
I never see anyone post their photo mode stuff. Like you see it a rare occasion people would. So that's pretty cool. I'm now very interested as to what the hell that story beat is, but yeah, good game. If you've not played Scarlet Nexus, I do highly suggest it. Oh shit, yeah. All right, now we get to talk about something that I didn't see too many people talk about, and it came, like the announcement came out at probably a poor time in a sense. Telltale are back with Wolf Among Us 2. I loved Wolf Among Us 1. I was so excited for number 2, and then Telltale's management situation happened, the fall of Telltale. But they're back, newly formed, really the dedicated ones that wanted to make these games, and it's looking good. It's looking mad good, and it's not on the old engine too. That old engine needed to go, and I'm very glad it's gone because I think his game's looking a lot better.
You're listed here as a private investigator. What does that sort of work entail?
Depends on the night.
They managed to keep the art style too, like it still looks like it's rough comic book sort of art style they went for. Very heavy black lines.
And that's what you were doing the night of the incident.
You liked Wolf Among Us? It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I really like Wolf Among Us. I think like
to track them down.
I still think Telltale's a way of
They
doing,
hadn't cast so much
I
as a
guess,
shadow
sort of
till that night.
almost like visual novel style narratives. I think still work very well.
You've been hesitant to share with us.
You're thinking of buying Digimon World Order, Next
I
Order?
assume
Oh,
it has
cool.
something to do with
It's very good.
confidentiality associated with
You
the
now have a
job.
full guide through my playthrough, Selmas, if you wanted. Make it easier on yourself.
Something.
So if you guys don't know, Wolf Among Us is about
The boss,
essentially
Miss White,
it's
said things didn't go
forget
as
the name of the
planned.
comic. It's like Fairy Tale or something.
There was some
But it's essentially it's fairy tale characters that. So you can obviously see Wizard of Oz characters here, but perhaps not how you've seen them before. They're a little bit more edgy. But our main boy Bigsy Bigsby
In the moments when you find yourself losing
gets a little angry in sometimes.
How does the anger manifest itself?
Our boy, the big bad wolf. Damn, it looks nice. I am excited for this. It's got that nice grungy noir to it. All right, let's do it. Let's jump into all the things that are in the Switch Direct. But most of these I'm just going to go cover over quickly. Some will watch trailers, some we won't. A lot of these you can, if you want to go check them out, they'll be over on the Nintendo channel, obviously. But with some of these, some we already know about, some are surprises, some I think are, because of the fact there was a lot of remakes, including what's on screen right now. We won't dive into them too heavily because they're remakes. As much as they're exciting, I have played a lot of these, and I think that the new trailers for the new things are probably what we'll focus on. I went to GameStop and it was $20. Oh, it was $60. Oh no, Selmas. Oh, that sucks. It does look cool. That Wolf Among Us, yeah, very much so. But this is Advance Wars 1 and 2. So this is Reboot Camp. I loved Advance Wars 1, 2, and technically 3. And I'm surprised they didn't do 3 for whatever reason, because that kind of caps off the storyline. But anyway, this looks good. I still am not into the art style. I think it's too like flash animation-y. Like I think that it's like it looks really clean. I think that it looks nice, but it's one of those things that I do feel like it's kind of, I don't know, because the team who's doing this, like they're the team that did River City Girls, I think it's this team. But it looks nice. It's Advance Wars. It doesn't look different. There's voice acting and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it is a DS game that like, a GBA game. So there's not a lot of assets on screen and stuff like that. So it's like, I kind of would prefer it to be still pixel art personally. But yeah, no, not yet, Selmas. We'll get to that one. But yeah, if you've not played Advance Wars before and you don't have access to the older ones, I would suggest picking this up. It is very weird to have this scenario now where this exists, where the team that made original Advance Wars 1 and 2 made their own company to make another form of Advance Wars, and that did not sell well. So it's a little sad with that sort of thing, and kind of being trapped within Nintendo in a sense, but it is what it is. The Wars series has taken a change. Live Alive! Speaking of remakes, this is going to be a lot in here. This is a game I've never played before. I've only heard about it, but I don't really know much about it at all. And there was pretty much this was a rumor that Live Alive was going to get a remake. I can't remember where I read it. And yeah, it looks really good. Like, this is probably the remake that I might think about picking up, because this genuinely looks gorgeous. There is a whole heap of very, like, I would say almost niche JRPGs that have, from the SNES era, that are being resurrected with a 2D, 3D art style that looks fantastic. This is kind of gorgeous. Like, I'm not a huge fan of 2D, 3D a lot of the time. I think it doesn't turn out very well. This genuinely looks really nice. But yeah, I kind of want to go look at how it looked originally now, because some of this is hard to like visualize what it would have looked like in just raw pixel art.
A tribesman comes of age in a world without words.
But something I want to point out here is is watching the movement in the ninja scene.
Imperial China, a kung fu master searches for a worthy
ironically, it kind of looks like Ragnarok at times when I'm looking at this. But this moment here,
undertakes an important secret mission.
where it's like, what did that? How did you play like that? I wonder how this game played originally as well. Like,
the near future,
But it looks fun. It genuinely looks fun. So
The distant future.
we
a
might
newly
we
built
might
robot
have to look
is
at this
swept
game.
up in a tragedy in space. What other stories are on the horizon?
And the fact that also it's kind of got like the Chrono Trigger thing where it's kind of in different time periods is kind of cool too. So
Live Alive
I'm kind of into
launches
that.
on Nintendo Switch July 22nd.
But hold that thought about Chrono
Pre-orders
Trigger.
be-
We'll talk about that in a bit. Front Mission First Remake and Front Mission 2. I won't watch these trailers. I don't really know the Front Mission series. I do know that mecha fans are really into these sort of games. Again, another like 3D upscale of what it used to be. Very interesting that they're making this. Again, a lot of niches in this direct. There was a lot of like interesting like niche choices, I feel like. But Nintendo getting that third party up, and that's what they should be doing. It's not shovelware. These are good games. It's just they're really trying to fill out the library. SD Gundam Battle Alliance announced. Another SD Gundam. Very chibi robos. If you like Gundam, perhaps this is for you. It kind of looks like a bit of like a mobile game to me, but I'm not really a Gundam fan, so I don't really know myself either. But again, filling out the library. I can't stop getting the image of Sonic announcing all of this out of my head. Wait, what do you mean? Taiko no Tatsujin is getting another game, so not surprised. I think it works very well on the Switch. It's a good pick, and it looks generally really good. It looks like another Taiko game, and there's a whole heap of interesting songs on here. So, yeah, hell yeah, Taiko. I personally wish that I could have you can buy the little drum. I wish I could get a bigger drum. I would love to see if I can find some sort of peripheral, maybe like a custom-made one for Taiko, because there's nothing more satisfying than hitting a giant drum. So perhaps I need to look into something like that. But yes, the direct announcer sounds like Sonic for some reason. Oh right, yeah. He's in Smash Bros. If you don't know, he's actually a couple of voices in Smash. Getsu Fumiden Undying Moon is now available on the Switch. It was already actually out on PlayStation and PC. I still want to play this game. It looks fucking amazing. It's a roguelike side-scroller Japanese demon game, kind of like Muramasa-esque look, and it looks really, really good. I'm really looking forward to playing this at some point. But yeah, if you want to get it now, it's now on Switch, and supposedly it's pretty good. It's pretty much a remake of the old school Getsu Fumiden, but they completely changed in terms of making it like a roguelike, and the art style just really got a bump up and everything. So yeah. Portal, oh my god. Talking about it's really weird to have certain games like this where it's like they just keep coming back. I was not expecting this one. Portal is back again. Portal 1 and 2 now available for the Switch. I do love Portal an awful lot, but yeah, it's very, very interesting because like Portal just still is one of those things that sells well. People enjoy it. It's a cult classic. Just the fact that it's come back again for the Switch is kind of surprising. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment, Fandra. Free-to-play racing game. So, like I said, similar to how Square Enix is doing their racing game, we have a free-to-play racer from Disney. I actually don't think this game looks terrible in terms of visuals and almost playstyle. Much, much better looking than Square's one, ironically. I don't know if I really care. I don't care. Let's be honest, I don't care. I'm not going to play a weird racer such as this, I don't think. But it'll probably sell well. Disney in all forms sells well. So if you like your Disney characters and you want another kart racer to play, maybe check this out. It does visually look okay. I have no idea how well it plays though. I enjoyed Portal, but it's too bad Valve can't count to 3. I know. Well, yeah. Valve is a weird company. Valve is a very strange company when it comes to how their internal runnings work and projects and things like that. And it does make me curious, like, eventually will we know how they kind of functioned? Speaking of Disney, Star Wars Force Unleashed. This is probably my pick for the weirdest fucking thing in that direct. If you don't remember Star Wars The Force Unleashed, when this game came out, people shat on this game super hard. It is very, very strange that this game is being remade for the Switch, because when it originally came out, it ran like hot garbage. It was, people really didn't like the gameplay. It had a lot of faults. So very, very strange of all the things to be picked to remake. I guess that's what Disney and Lucas were wanting to do, to try and find something to put on the Switch. This is the Wii version, so it does have motion controls and some of the upgrades, but who knows? I have no idea if this is going to run terribly. I will say it did not look great in the footage, but may sell well. It's Star Wars, it's Disney, I don't know. Guess in mine. Coming out on 4/20. Oh my god, I didn't even notice that. What's Star Wars Day, Fandra? I can't even remember. There's like a... Star Wars has got like a particular date, and I can't remember. The 4th be with you? The 4th? Something the 4th. Something like that. Alright. May the 4th. Thank you, Fandra. That's it. They should have put it on May the 4th if they wanted. Alright. Now we'll jump into Nintendo. So, a lot of third parties out of the way. This is going to be the Nintendo section mostly. Actually, we got one other one that's not Nintendo I'll talk about, but we'll get into that. Metroid Dread adds a new update, which adds 2 different difficulty modes, an easy mode and a one-touch mode. So, as well as there's like a lot of different stuff to add into this little update. I think this is just nice. I don't think this is like blow us out of the water update, but it's definitely going to be something for Metroid fans, I think the Metroid fans that are still playing this game will definitely take advantage of these updates. But yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm going to now talk about 2 leaked games that people have been talking about for months, and we were fairly sure they were real leaks. It was just when they were going to happen. The first one, Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition. Not Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, the game that is probably more niche than Chrono Trigger. A very ambitious, crazy friggin' game. It has like something like 60 playable characters. Is getting a remake, and it's getting upgrades, and it looks nice. It looks good. I am kind of excited for this because I've never played Chrono Cross. I love Chrono Trigger, never played Chrono Cross. I heard this game was very terrible, so I never got around to it because it's very different. But supposedly, it's got some charm and it's got some interesting things that are worth checking out. This might be the opportunity for me to finally check it out. So this is set in, I don't even know if it's in the connected universe. I think it's connected somehow. It's either a distant future to Chrono Trigger. There are some rules from Chrono Trigger that fall into it, but in the end, it's mostly its own thing. But it has a lot of that PlayStation 1 Square charm to it that I kind of really love. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's very strange that I never played this. And I think this might be the opportunity. I will say, I do feel weirder sometimes about these visual upgrades to games like this, where they kind of, I feel like they lose a bit of their PlayStation charm. But you can still see like the heritage of the game and everything. It looks like they're using AI upscaling for some of the textures, though I don't know what's up with the frame rate. I've noticed this a couple times in this trailer, but hopefully that's not indicative of the final build. But there is some weird like FPS stuff. Also, they're adding on a prequel visual novel, well, not a visual novel, I guess just a novel, which I have no idea anything about that either. But yeah, this trailer doesn't do a great job of sort of expressing Chrono Cross, but I feel like this is one of those things, the people who know are the people who know sort of thing. But yeah, excited. So that one was leaked a while ago, kind of. We knew it was coming in some capacity, but it was like, wasn't going to come with a new game, was it going to come with Chrono Trigger getting an upgrade? But yeah. AI upscaling, can you talk a bit more about that? Yeah, so AI upscaling is something that you might see a lot of people who... a lot of people have done that to games such as Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy VII. A lot of the PlayStation games, what people have done is essentially they've ripped games such as this, where they've got very low-res textures on models, but specifically with something that Square did, which was 3D background. So I'll give you an example. I'll try and find it within the trailer. If you look at, say, I think there's a couple of good scenes that sort of represent this. Rather than redrawing it, yeah, this is a good one. Rather than redrawing it by hand, in the original games, these were pre-rendered, so they were made in 3D, pre-rendered as a static image, and then applied as a background, and then basically you're just walking on a plane with some hitboxes preventing you from moving. But with 3D, with AI upscaling, basically they've taken those old images because they don't have the old assets to re-render the 3D. They just basically use an AI generator to make it look like it's more upscaled or up-resed, and without having to re-render it. So the AI is doing a lot of work. They might have to do a bit of cleanup here and there, but like especially with like the art scene here and this scene here, this definitely looks like AI upscaling to me because there's a little bit of artifacting. There's just, you'll notice sometimes there's like a little bit of blurry and stuff that kind of looks a bit strange. Like there's bleeding of like pixels and things like that, which to me looks like it probably is upscaling. I might be wrong. Sometimes it uses a bit of both. Like they've done it by hand and then also done it with AI upscaling, or they've just straight up stretched the textures, which is also a possibility too. But yeah, I think that's probably what they've done here. If you want to look at some of that stuff, the Final Fantasy VII one looks gorgeous with the AI upscaling. There's a couple of different versions of them, and they look very, very good. They really, really take an old school game even further. All right, this is the other one that was leaked a while back that was really, really a strange timing because I hadn't heard anyone talk about Klonoa for years. But cut to about last year or so, I started encountering more and more people online talking about Klonoa again. So that's very strange. People getting very excited, like as in like, oh man, I'd love a new Klonoa. I want them to bring it back. Namco, please do something with it. And then I started seeing leaks and rumors about Klonoa getting remade and Fantasy Reverie being the thing that was... People weren't sure at first whether or not this was like going to just be a remake of the games or if it was a new title for a third game. But looks like it's just a remake of 1 and 2. But I would imagine this is just... It's come at good timing, I feel like. I feel like people are probably ready for Klonoa. Some people really have fond memories of this game. I never played it. I had a friend of mine that was very into them, but I never really played these games, so I don't know too much about them, but they do look very charming and they very much look in my wheelhouse. I think it just was at that time where it was just, I was playing lots of other games similar that I just didn't end up playing Klonoa, but... Oh, also the anniversary is here too. There was a big build-up by Bamco, like that fucking webcomic. Yeah, there was also... So another reason why we thought this was coming, Fandra, is because for the anniversary, they started putting out merch that looked like a little bit different to the original Klonoa, and it made people feel like, oh shit, is it possible they might make something to do with Klonoa again? I always felt like Klonoa had Sega vibes to it. It's very cute. But yeah, I think that it's, to me, it always had that Sega vibe to it, and I kind of wish that I had it, like, on my, I think it would have been the PS2. I don't know what consoles it originally came out into. Not sure I'm into this like made-up language voice though. Because they're not speaking Japanese. I don't know what they're speaking. But it has very much like, it has that 90s kids Japanese art style to it that I really like. So the nostalgia in me, even though I never played it, is just sort of like, this is probably going to be pretty good. But yeah, like as Fendra's mentioned, it actually is coming to PC. So it's coming to Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox, and Steam. So quite a lot of platforms. So if you want to play this game, you're probably going to have the chance to. All right, we are out of remake territory. We are into new shit. Nintendo. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes announced for Switch. So, this is a game that was rumored also. We knew that there was a Fire Emblem Warriors supposedly in development. We heard that they wanted to do this for a while, and Three Houses seems to be the one that they've chosen to do it with. I've never played Three Houses. I didn't really like the direction that they sort of took modern Fire Emblem, but perhaps one day I will jump back into them. They're decently long RPGs, but if you have played them, this is probably going to be worthwhile playing for you, because I do like me a Warriors game. Hopefully this has the Nintendo Warriors polish, because if you look at like Hyrule Warriors and things like that, they are very, very good games, and generally worth picking up. So and I would say of all the things that they've ever done a crossover for, Fire Emblem is the most sensible Warriors game they've ever made. This literally is a series about warfare in a medieval era.
I will not allow it to perish with you.
Lenovo's voice actor also voiced Chakamon and Shippo from Inuyasha. Oh, that's amazing. That's pretty cool, Fandra. You should talk to I think Storm. I think Storm said he's a massive Klonoa fan. He must have lost his mind about that announcement.
I have ambitions, Edelgard. Real ones.
Again, I don't know if the Switch really is the best platform for a Warriors game, but I mean, it kind of just works. I mean, it is a little, I think visually, I said the same thing about the Hyrule Warriors, is I think visually it gets a little bit muddy, but as long as the frame rate doesn't tank and it does feel like a good action game still, then I think it'd be good. Also, wait, sorry, chat, is there dragon wait, I've just realized there's giant monsters. Are there dragon riders in Three Houses? Why are there giant monsters in Fire Emblem? What? Hang on. I really don't know about this particular instance. Like, did something happen? Are the dragons back? Are there dragon people? Maybe that's what this is about. I really don't know. I like the dragons in Fire Emblem, but they're not in every game. So, yeah, interesting. But I am excited. I will probably not allow myself to play this game until I play the Three Houses. But yeah, looks good. I have confidence in that team. Here's the weird one, talking about nostalgia and remakes that I thought we'd never see return. A game that did surprisingly well, is kind of a cult classic, and yeah, Mario Strikers. We are getting a new Mario Strikers. Very, very strange. I am not a sports fan in any sense of the imagination. I'm not really a soccer person, but the original Strikers is very fun. So these sort of silly party-like sports games I think can do very well. It's interesting they kept the art style, because I think that was one of the things that a lot of people were pretty critical of back in the day, was people not really liking the art style. Instead, they've leaned into it in even heavier, with having customizable like outfits and things like that. And yeah,
Prepare for
If you're a bit of a sports fan, this might be for you.
soccer that's way heavy on offense. Aim for goals by dribbling and
Because at the end of the day, it is a sports game.
using tackles. Items.
I love how he just kicks Luigi into the wall.
Crushing special shots. The main rule in this sport is to rule the field.
Yeah, Nintendo, I think branching out with their sports games and making them more like kind of unique ones on their platform works very well because it just is a lot more accessible, and I think it's just a lot more silly fun rather than having to be very serious sports. But I won't watch the entire trailer because it's mostly, it goes through the actual mechanics and stuff. It does have full eight player online. Or local rather, I was going to say online. It does have online matches, however, but they didn't really detail how that kind of works. But I think that this will have a relatively good sized online for people, at least on launch. So yeah, if you're into this type of game and you like the original, you lucked out. Should I save this one? No, let's just jump into it. Kirby! So I would say of all the ones that got shown off, is probably Kirby is the show stealer, just because of the fact that it is the, like the Nintendo General, everyone knows Kirby, and it's friggin' cute. And if you have not seen this monstrosity, kind of a spoiler, this monstrosity exists. I'm very excited for this. There's a lot of crystal shards energy from this game. I'm a big fan of Kirby crystal shards. I kind of was very disappointed that no other like Kirby game was anything like it in my opinion. And I'm kind of excited to have a full 3D Kirby with lots of new powers, including Become Car. This is horrific. Kirby just stretched out, doesn't fully absorb it, and just becomes a car cover. But it's very pretty. Look how pretty this game is.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
The fluffy things? I forget what their names are, those little boys.
With an unusual mix of
but it looks like we're now getting like apparently beast enemies are like the primary villains.
Kirby sets off on a new adventure.
And those are like just the most generic enemies generally. They don't really do anything in Kirby most of the time, but mouthful mode.
Inhale a car to zoom around.
I do like this. So the reason why I like this is because it gives environmental transformations, which is fun. So you get sort of ones for particular areas. But some of these actually look very familiar, chat. If you've played Crystal Shards, some of these will look a little familiar.
Enjoy exploring with new
like Light Bulb and Boomerang and
Kirby can even
waterfall. This water one not so much. This one's pretty unique. Some of them are very like specific to regions. It looks like. But there's a couple of powers that'll come up in a moment that got me very excited because I missed the fusions a lot.
At Waddle Dee's weapon shop, familiar copy abilities can be evolved.
Evolution for power-ups. I wonder how this works, whether or not it permanently upgrades them, though, because that'll be weird to have only the upgraded versions. But yeah, Chakram Cutter turns into Chakram Cutter with lots. Fire becomes Meteor Shot. So, Cutter Needle becomes the Cutter Needle from Star Shards.
And make him
Giant Sword. Like, there's a lot of references to older ones. So, I'm very happy by this news because I think that's the thing with Kirby is I just want more powers. Just give me more bigger powers that are cooler. Also, Meta Knight reference with Dragon, I feel like.
Adventure awaits our pink puffball.
God, look at that this monster, that armadillo reminds me of like a rare enemy. Also, Fuzzy DDD.
This world? Kirby and the Forgotten Land launches on the Nintendo Switch system.
I'm very excited. Hope you guys
Pre-orders
are. I'm
available
going to play the
now
shit out
on
of this game.
Nintendo eShop.
It looks very cute. March 25th is very close, by the way. Very, very, very close. All right, Splatoon 3 actually is also very close as well. They have a trailer for Salmon Run. I won't watch the trailer for this one because it's just Salmon Run with the new creatures, essentially. But yeah, Splatoon 3, they actually had a trailer and they've announced that it'll be in summer. They haven't specified a date yet, but yeah, if you're a Splatoon fan, which I do know a lot of younger Nintendo people particularly are big Splatoon fans, probably very good news for you. I was going to put on, I wasn't going to have music on, but now I think Nintendo Switch Sports announced. We'll watch this trailer as well. There was a lot of announcements. This one actually is a bit surprising to me that this came out quite far into the Switch's life cycle, because the Switch is the true successor, I feel like, to the Wii. And you want to talk about games that did well on the Wii, Switch Sports will do very well.
Series. Nintendo Switch Sports.
One thing I will say though, chat, is that
Let's begin with
I'm not sure I'm big on these avatars.
You might recognize them
I feel like I saw them during the previous generation on the Wii U.
Tennis.
But they give me kind of that Microsoft avatar vibe, which I never really liked, because it looks like baby adults. They're kind of weird looking.
Give it a little curve.
But this sort of cements the idea that Mii's are gone. Like Mii's are kind of this thing that they're not really wanting to have anymore. Which is fine. But yeah, I think this looks good. It just looks really good. I'm bulging just for bowling. I know bowling is definitely probably the best one of the games. I do like the tennis in it though, but yeah, it's just a better sports
you can play shootout mode with intuitive kicking
version
motions.
from the Wii. Like, this just looks good, and I think this is something that will sell decently well, because enough people probably are not playing their Wii anymore that they will just they'll just pull out their Switch and just play this because the Switch is sold so well. There's a new sequel to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Is that true, Red Rover? Wasn't there going to be a movie? I feel like I remember something about a movie for The Fresh Prince.
And spike the ball. The game supports local play with family and friends on one Nintendo Switch system, as well as online play across all sports.
And there it is.
Play against friends online.
The big thing that changes the game for everyone that has modern consoles is games just having online. Nintendo are finally really leaning into it too, to have a Wii Sports game that has online functionality. Very, very good.
Opt for random matchmaking. The more you win, the tougher the players you'll face. Try taking on this challenge. The Nintendo Switch Sports game launches April 29th.
April 29th. Like I said, the front year is going to be very loaded this year, and Nintendo's kind of ready for it. I talked about how last year it was going to be an interesting thing whether or not it was going to be, which of the mainline consoles were going to lean into 2022. And I had a feeling it would be Nintendo because of the fact that they were quite light the last 2 years. Seems like this is when everything's sort of coming together. So if the latter half of the year's rumors are true,
it will only be available for
gonna be very
players
crazy.
with an active Nintendo Switch online membership for the dates shown on screen. If you're interested, please visit the official Nintendo website for more details.
Yeah. So yeah, Switch Sports, very good. Kind of one that surprised me a little bit, but it's good that it's coming. Earthbound Beginnings and Earthbound is going to be added to the Switch Online. So these are for the SNES Online. It's been a while since they tried to promote the SNES sort of games that have come out, because there's a lot of ones that sort of shadow come out that people haven't really talked about. But it's Earthbound. I think if I've never played Earthbound, again, this is like a game series that it's extremely well known. Very few people have played it in a weird way. It's kind of a niche thing in a sense, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's weird and wonderful and I need to play it, and I've just held off. And I think we now have an accessible way for me to do so. So yeah, Earthbound for this is very good. And I think that perhaps we might see, perhaps there's having the director talk about it, the original director for Earthbound, makes me wonder about some of the Earthbound stuff. Is it weird that Daimono is holding Digimon Survive? Surely that must be what they're doing, Fandra, because I think they want to announce it for everything. Because Nintendo try to focus for Nintendo, and they probably don't want to confuse the message, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what the Digimon team are doing. Honestly, it's hard to say. This is probably my big piece of news for the entire Direct. As much as everything was great, this new announcement was probably my big highlight, but there's a bigger one after this one. Mario Kart 8 Boost Course Pass includes 48 remastered courses out by the end of 2023. Holy shit. So if you didn't see, Mario Kart 8 is still actually selling very well. In fact, it's selling more than when it initially sold. It is doing extremely well. This is like, if you were to talk about a game that sells with the Switch and almost every Switch owner owns it, it is Mario Kart 8. This game is extremely well sold. People love it. It's very good. I have nothing bad to say about it, honestly. It's very good. Getting double the amount of courses. I'm not joking. That's double the amount of courses. And there's a lot of retro courses that if you've played the old Mario Karts, you will recognize a lot of these, and they are very, very, very fun courses. And a lot of old songs, such as Yee Coconut Mall. I'm very excited for this because it just adds so much more replayability to an already very replayable game. Now, some of these courses I don't recognize, so supposedly these ones come from Mario Kart World Tour, which is interesting because the World Tour courses are very similar to some of the arcade ones that never got released as well. So
8 courses will be released at a time over 6 waves.
This is just amazing.
Additional courses we plan on releasing by the end of
I didn't even look at the icons. Are the icons relative to any of the games? No, they're not. They're just random. But yeah.
Courses such as Coconut Mall, Choco Mountain.
Choco Mountain is going to be a bitch. It's one of the more frustrating ones from the N64.
Will be included in the first wave. Of course.
So something people have pointed out is that these particular courses don't look fantastic as well. Visually, they're a little bit less impressive than baseline courses. So it might be a situation where these might be like less detailed and in... What is up with Mario? Mario's face, he looks cross-eyed there. They look a lot less detailed than the actual mainline courses, which is fine because it's DLC. But it's very, 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 like, just great to have that many more courses. Honestly, the visuals probably will fall by the wayside once you're actually playing because you'll just be enjoying racing people on different courses, essentially. And it's 48 courses over 6 waves for $25 US. However, it is free if you have the Nintendo Switch Online expansion.
On Nintendo eShop.
And so for someone like me, where I said essentially that if you are worried about Nintendo not having enough, this is what Nintendo's going to do. They will stack up stuff like this as time goes on. The initial wave is not necessarily worth picking up the expansion pack if you're not really inclined, but it will probably become worth it at some point. And something like this really does help that because that's straight up $25 worth of content. And that's for a game that almost everyone owns. Almost everyone owns Animal Crossing. Almost everyone owns Mario Kart. You get access to the N64 library, which is being expanded. You get access to the Genesis library, which I don't think it's really being expanded, but it's a lot. Also, Formidable, welcome on in. Feels like Nintendo's trying to take some of the shine off Disney Kart Racer. It's really funny because both that Disney Kart Racer and the Chocobo GP, both coming out, both having season pass situations, they got announced at poor times for this to get announced because people are just going to only think about this. They probably didn't know that was coming. I feel like there was a very big rumor that this was a reality, but the fact that it was actually true is kind of crazy.
Additional cost.
It sells the upgraded online service. It really does. I think it's straight up $25 worth of content. Like,
or purchase the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass on its own.
Yeah, I'm very excited by that. That's probably the one where I'm like, shit, yeah, I'm going to play a lot of Mario Kart on stream again. I do like me some Mario Kart. But yeah, as people have pointed out, like, you'll notice that these visuals are not the most shiny. They kind of look old in a weird way. They kind of make me think of like when they remade a lot of the old GBA levels and things for the Wii. They don't look the worst, but they're definitely not the same quality as, say, the current stages. But that's okay. Again, we're playing it for the stages mostly. So it does make me wonder as well, actually, is how they're actually going to incorporate the new mechanic from Mario Kart 8 of using the anti-grav into some of these stages. Or are they even going to bother to do that? So I don't know. Really unsure what the plan is. But also, these might not be the final versions of the stages. These might look a lot better when they come out, by the way. We'll see. All right. I'm running out of breath. But it is time for the big one. This was the kicker. This was the big one for this direct. And people were very hopeful that this was true. Have some water? I'll have some water just before we get into this. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. People were very, very excited. A lot of people who haven't played the other games or don't really care about Xenoblade, kind of missing out. I haven't actually played Chronicles 2, but holy shit. This game looks mad impressive on the Switch. This is the reason why the Pokemon game looks like runs as well as it is. This team are the masters of optimizing open world games, and they make a good game loop. People are really, really, really sleeping on this if you're not playing the Xenoblade series. Xenoblade 3 is already in the works? Hell yeah, it is. I would say it's most of the way through development
Fighting in
too.
order to live. And living
Xenoblade
to
2 was the reason you bought your Switch? Really? They're very big games.
That's the way of our world.
They are proper JRPGs. Like, they are big games. So, supposedly there is a lot of references to Xenoblade 2 in this, as well as Xenoblade 1. People have talked about how it's possible that this is a weird merged universe of 1 and 2. I don't know where 2 ends, but it makes me curious as to what the hell could have caused that. But
try to move forwards again.
Visually looks good.
They're not your friends anymore. They're his fuel.
Look at this. Look at this, chat. Look at this. This is the Switch. This is on the Switch. And it doesn't look like all messed up and pixelated and bullshit that a lot of Switch games do to try and hide a lot of stuff and reduce frame rate issues. It's incredible. Also, a lot more like normal looking clothes for the Xenoblade series, I'll be honest.
They must be erased without a trace.
Kind of like the vibes of this one too. There was something about the vibes in the previous one that didn't really draw me in as much, but the vibes of this one really, I think it's hitting right. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's the Gonna be a big one. I wonder how well it's gonna sell actually, but I feel like Xenoblade is now one of those things where I think it's established in the West now. I think people know it. September 2022 as well. So we've actually got one of our first solid Nintendo late year release titles, which is good because I was worried when they were going to start announcing this stuff. And so they've at least locked in this one. We will probably at least get 2 more games, I feel like, for end of year. But we're starting off with this, which is an easy sell. And it's going to take its time. It's a big JRPG. So, yeah. Makes sense. But very excited by this. But that was pretty much how they ended off the Nintendo Direct. And it was a very good one. Again, not a terrible Nintendo Direct, not the best Nintendo Direct. I think it was a pretty good Direct. Well-paced. I feel like that they had pretty much something for everyone in a way. I do feel like the general Nintendo fans probably felt a little bit like left in the cold with really just Kirby and really not too much maybe the Mario Kart stuff. I think a lot of people were very much wanting, they want to know when, if there's a new Mario coming, if there is a new Zelda coming, or when the new Zelda's coming. There's just a few things I think people are kind of itchy for, but Nintendo won't announce without confidence. That's pretty much what I will say about them. They do not really announce something that they're going to throw away. So, yeah. We'll probably get another Direct midway through the year to let us know what's going on with that. But for now, I think we have a decent amount of information to just look forward to, essentially. Whew. Running out of breath today. Common controversies, though. Alright, from announcements to controversies, you can take a guess at some of what the controversies here. Probably been the same one that has been for the past few months. NFTs! itch.io decries NFTs and calls them a scam. So, I'm a big fan of itch.io. I think the indie scene usually has the sort of the right mindset of like some of the big business choices were from the outside in, like going, what's this? And yeah. Also, indies are a little bit more willing to do language like this. NFTs are a scam. If you think they are legitimately used for anything other than exploitation of creators, financial scams, and the destruction of the planet, then we ask you to please reevaluate your life choices. Also, fuck any company that says they support creators and endorses NFTs in any way. They only care about profit and the opportunity of wealth of above anyone else, especially given how easily available discourse concerning the problem is of NFTs. I share this sentiment. I do not like NFTs at all. I think it's a very, very silly thing that is happening to not only the games industry, but a lot of internet sort of sales and just businesses. It's a very strange thing to see. I cannot believe it's gotten to the point it has. This is not the same as blockchain. This is not the same as like bit mining and things like that. It's very strange. This has been a very, very strange turn of events, but it's just ongoing, and more companies will speak it out. Some will just sit on the fence, but I think we've still got a little bit to go because things like this are happening. This isn't gaming, I know, but Astro Boy NFT game cards will bring Japan into the metaverse. So, like, this one I think is offensive, honestly. I'm not a fan of this in a sense because I know Astro Boy is a brand and sold and blah, 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 but it's like, I think this is just something with the passing of the creator that like having something like this come about, I think is just kind of gross. And it's a weird way to sell things like this. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if this is good. And metaverse, like them talking about getting into the metaverse and things like that. So metaverse, if you don't realize, is what they're talking about with the Facebook business and moving into that space. And it's just, I don't know. I just don't understand what's happening here. Oh wait, I've just realized. I think I've gotten these two confused. I don't think Metaverse is Meta. I think Meta is the Facebook thing. I think Metaverse is a different thing. But yeah, anyway, just the fact that they're selling this is just, we're just gonna see this. But continuing on from the NFT thing in a way is essentially something to do with the NFTs, which was Team 17, which kind of got chastised by Aggro Crab Games and basically them stepping back, saying from doing NFTs. And now it's coming out that Team 17 staff are actually working under poor working conditions, and it's now a situation where perhaps businesses that are looking at doing doing NFTs might be the type of company to be having this sort of problem. Past present employees share mismanagement, salary woes, and apathy towards sexual harassment claims. We're starting to see an uptrend of people speaking out about these problems. This is good to see, because I feel like that over the past few years, the reinforcement that this stuff is not okay has started happening, and people are actually talking about their workplaces being shit, and that's good. It means that something can actually be done about it. And again, I still think that unionization would protect a lot of these individuals that are having these problems and feel like they don't have a space to talk towards. But yeah, it's not great. Team 17 aren't the hugest. They do have quite a few publishing deals, but I don't know to what extent that it could just be pulled apart easily. But yeah, not great to hear. Oh man, running out of breath. I missed that chap. But yeah, holy heck, Team 17. So we'll keep an eye on them. We'll keep an eye on them. In other big business news, we have two weird ones with Platinum. Now, you guys know I love Platinum. They've been weird for the past few years, and we've now had a change of CEOs. So Atsushi Inaba has now expressed that he would like titles to be loved for longer. Now, we don't quite know what the hell that means. There is a project GG that is currently being worked on, which is in the idea of a testing grounds for an more expansive, longer-term play style, which probably either means a season pass style philosophy, or is going to be microtransactions, or it's going to be a live service, or it's hard to say what they're really planning, because Platinum are an action game company. Now, what has me worried is the last game that they've been working on, and it still hasn't come out yet, is actually a live service game that we believed initially was encouraged by Square Enix for it to become that. Now, this might reveal that it actually wasn't the case. It might have been a Platinum push so they can have longer term funding to fund their other projects, because they're Babylon's Fall is kind of suffering from them trying to adapt that into that sort of Godfall microtransaction sort of live service game situation, and it's not working. And if that game comes out and it's not great, and then Platinum decide to go forward with this idea, this could be dangerous territory, and it's probably not the thing that people would want to hear, because Platinum are known for their refined action game portfolio that usually are generally pretty short. If you look at any of their games, you probably can play them in a few days, and then they're designed that you replay them and get better at them. That is a niche. That is essentially something that is it makes money if people like those games. They like to play those games. Long live service games try to keep those people hooked for longer with that same engaging gameplay, but using a game loop instead. And that's where the concern lies, because I don't know if that's not something necessarily in Platinum Games' wheelhouse. But a little bit of a distressing news for me seeing this. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about, yes, I will. That's actually the next article. So, after that announcement is Platinum Games, Hideki Kamiya would like to revisit Scalebound. Oh my gosh. So, if you guys don't know what Scalebound is, Scalebound essentially was the game that was going to be between Microsoft and Platinum Games. But we heard that Platinum Games did not like working with Microsoft at the time. It might be different now. There was some sort of conflict of interest. There was decisions, creative decisions that were like sort of in contrast. And we know Kamiya is a bit of a edgy boy when it comes to some of that stuff, and they were a bit vocal about them not liking it, and the project fell apart. The game looked good. I think it actually looked interesting and would be kind of, not necessarily pure Platinum's wheelhouse, but with Microsoft support, it could have been an amazing thing. And we've already seen what happens to Platinum when they get the support they need. Again, don't really know what... Grand Blue is another thing. I'll talk about Grand Blue with that previous topic I was talking about too in a minute. But it's an interesting thing because, like, it's... I feel like that Platinum wants to move out of their, like, known wheelhouse and expand into something a bit more bigger and different, but I haven't really figured it out. Hey, Stalker, catch me up. We're a lot of topics. Stalker, I'm assuming you came in during the Platinum stuff. Yeah, so Platinum wants to go to a live service. I'd rather see them go back to cheap licensed games than this. I know, I don't know where I feel about this, Formidable. I would say the Scalebound news is good because I would like to see them work with modern Microsoft, but I don't know if it is necessarily a good idea if that idea of longer form games is what they're wanting to approach, what does that do to them? Now, let's talk about another project. So we know Babylon Fall is coming out. There was a game that was lost by Platinum. Grand Blue Fantasy. So that action RPG looked amazing. It was very much in their wheelhouse. It was an action RPG with focus on boss fights and going through encounters. Something that they sort of figured out how to do quite well during making Nier Automata, which had Square Enix support. Now, for some reason, that project got taken from Platinum Games. Don't quite know yet why. We still haven't had the post-mortem on that one. But what we know is that game went underground. It got given to another developer. It resurfaced, and it looked like it had been reworked from almost the ground up. It looked like it did not have any of the previous, like, action mechanics from... not the action mechanics, action code from Platinum Games. So then what happened there? We don't know. Why did Platinum suddenly not work with Psy Games? Was that a poor relationship there? Did Platinum want to do something that the team didn't want to? Were they trying to force a more microtransaction-focused game that didn't really gel with the ideologies of Platinum? Or was it vice versa? Did Platinum want to lean more into it to find a longer form game? It is a very weird thing, and I'm curious what will happen in the coming years for the next few games that come out of Platinum Games. Will they be what the core fans that have played their previous games, will they actually enjoy them? I really hope so, because I would be very, very sad to see them go in a weird direction that kind of tears them apart just to try and survive in the industry. Because as I said, it's very easy to survive as a big AAA supported business. Or if you reduce down to, like, say, Platinum, they're not a AA studio. I feel like that's kind of the thing that confuses. I feel like people think they're bigger than they are. They aren't that big. I would say that they are A to AA studio. They're not massive. They're definitely not indie, but they're not like the biggest company in the world. And I think it's hard to exist in that sort of that realm of making pure games that are for the niche community that are very refined. Those businesses don't last long. It is incredibly hard for businesses to survive like that. So this might be their decision, as this is why they have to do so, but we'll see. Hi, NC. Welcome on in. But yeah, Platinum. We'll keep an eye on them. Bandai Namco. We were talking about Meta just before, but they had to invest 96 millions into IP Metaverse. So, Metaverses are the hot shit right now. It looks like Bandai Namco wants to invest into their own one. I don't know, again, still have no idea what some of the forms of these will take, because it's such a broad term. But Bandai have a lot under their belt. They have movies, they have studios, the TV studios, games, merchandise, lot. They have a lot of different stuff, a lot of different things, and that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to invest, and Bandai Namco have that cash. They can kind of do what they want, honestly. And I wouldn't put it past them to be able to succeed in doing something like this, but holy crap. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Gonna have to keep an eye on this. That's a lot of money. I can see them balking at not getting enough of a cut in the future live service revenue, and this is them trying to stake more of a claim. That's not a bad way of phrasing it, Formidable. I actually like that thought process, because if that's the case, that makes me wonder why they've approached Babylon's Fall the way they have, and maybe they haven't put a full team on it properly, despite them having Square money, because maybe they are wanting to step away so they can carve their own identity and take what they've learnt from it. But if that's true, it's worrisome, because it's that thing of like, Babylon's Fall, people have not taken kindly to like the reimagined version of that game to fit in the microtransactions and the multiplayer spectrum. So we'll see. We'll see, I think. I love Digimon, but I don't know if I'd love this. I don't know. It's hard to say. This is something, the idea of making a metaverse is something that is extremely broad and not really sure what that sort of encompasses. In some ways, it could just be branding, is one way to think about it. It could just be encompassed branding, but we'll see. They already have a lot of stake in a lot of pies. Like, they can kind of do what they want. All right, and now for the last piece of news, and a bit of a weird one. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit gaming rights are up for sale. Very strange, considering there is a Lord of the Rings game coming out soon. If you don't know, there is actually a game in development for essentially Gollum and his tales and adventures through the world. I don't know who wants to play that game. Visually, it looks good. The art style for the characters, though, kind of look weird. But this is kind of crazy, because I'm not sure who would purchase this, because I actually thought Warner Brothers owned it. I thought they got these rights when they purchased the movies. But it seems like the gaming IPs are separate, and that's why if you think back into the GameCube era, we actually had some weird Lord of the Rings games. We had those, there was quite a few different Lord of the Rings games around that time period. But yeah, I don't know what happens here. I feel like this will go for a very, very, very high price. I can see a couple of different studios getting their hands on it. Scarily, if Disney or get their hands on that, I would not be too happy about that, I'll be honest. But yeah, I'm not sure which Western companies would go for it, but guess we'll see. Oh yeah, Warner Brothers did, because they did also the Shadow of Middle Earth Shadows series, which I completely forgot that they did make games under that. So yeah, I'm very surprised by this, but I guess we'll keep an eye out. There's a series coming out too. Yeah, so yeah, that's right. There's also a TV series coming out too. So yeah, I don't know. It was just very strange news, but I guess we'll see what happens. I will wonder who will walk up to the table with wallet open and just dump the cash out, because That could go for quite a lot. All right, a lot of news. Nintendo Directs usually destroy me. This one did as well. I now need to take a break, catch my breath. I hope you guys enjoyed that news. If there's anything I didn't cover, let me know. But I will take a break now, I think. And we'll jump into some Pokemon after this. A lot of crazy stuff. But a big, exciting year is ahead of us. I think 2022 is proving to be a much larger year than last year and the year before. And it's a sign that kind of returning to normal. Fuck Disney too? Yeah, fuck Disney. Alright. I'll be BRB, chat. Stay put. We'll be back for Pokemon. I do enjoy this segment, but I don't always catch all the gaming type news. Yeah, I try to catch as much as I can. It's exhausting. There's a lot here. A lot happens in a week sometimes. You'd be surprised, Fandra. I do like know what's going on. I hope you guys do too. Alright. For real though, BRB.